DJ Metal Craig of Craig's Metal Storm here, and I have one of the members of Cloud's Taste Satanic with me today. Hey, how's it going? Would you like to introduce yourself and what position you do in the band?
Hey Craig, I am Steve Scavuzzo from Cloud State Satanic, and I play guitar.
Nice to finally have you on the airways over here at Mango Music Radio and Craig's Metal Storm, buddy. It's been a long while in the works, but we're finally getting to do this.
Absolutely.
Please go back in the history of Cloud's Taste Satanic and how the band all got started.
I was playing in a kind of a more post-rock band back in 2013, and that band ended. And I had been listening to a lot more newer metal, a lot of Sun, and dipping back into bands like Earth. Definitely more of the droney kind of heavy bands. And of course, I discovered sleep, and it just got me more inspired to move in that kind of direction with music. So I put a band together, and we recorded our first record in, I'm going to say 2013, To Sleep Beyond the Earth. And it came out in the spring of 2014. So it's been almost 10 years since that record came out.
Right on, man. Just so you know, I would actually jammed the shoot, trying to remember the name, Sleep Beyond the Earth album before the interview. And that one is actually killing off some long, badass songs. And you know what that first song reminds me of with the formula for the guitar work?
Yeah. It
Sleep 62-minute song, Dope Smokers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it was definitely inspired by Dope Smoker for sure. But I mean, we kind of needed to put things in our own direction a little bit. And interestingly enough, that the vinyl and CD has just been reissued, repressed by Interstellar Smoke Records in Poland. That came out actually just about 2 weeks ago.
Wow. How did you guys come up with the band name Clouds Taste Satanic?
There is a band called the Flaming Lips, and they have a record called Clouds Taste Metallic. Now we could have called our band Clouds Taste Metallic. That would have been applicable as well too, but we didn't want people to think we're a Flaming Lips cover band, so we changed it up a little bit, and it was kind of one of those names where we felt like it would stand the test of time, be a little I don't want to say interesting per se, but definitely cause people to think, and maybe people wouldn't get tired of it. And so far, people seem to like it. It's People always ask where it came from and what does it mean. And I guess if they're thinking about it, that's a good thing.
Let me tell you this, I think the band name is very interesting, unique, and diverse.
Thank you.
Who designed the Clouds Taste Satanic band logo?
There is an artist. Her real name escapes me at the moment, but her artistic name is Godis Doomwitch, and we had kind of run across some of her artwork back in the day. Um, she worked on some early stuff for us, and definitely came up with the logo that we're using most regularly for like shows and albums. It kind of has this arcing design, and it's kind of evil, and it's cool. And we have yet to come up with a one that's better than that one so far. But she's still out there, I think. I don't know if she's still doing artwork, but that's we found her through social media.
Right on, man. And just so you know, I think the logo is absolutely sick and amazing as well.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Who's all in the current band lineup for Clouds Taste Satanic, and what instruments do they play?
We have another player, Brian Baus. We have a bass player, Rob Halstead, and we have a drummer, Greg Akampora. And they are the current Clouds lineup and have been for, I guess, years now.
What are Clouds Taste Satanic's immediate music career goals?
Well, we just put out a recent record, 79 AE. No, I can't even remember the name of the thing. And we are our goals at the moment, I guess, would be to we're going to Europe for a couple of weeks in May. So we're kind of getting our live show together. I guess that would be our immediate goals. And we got a show on Saturday in Connecticut for 420. So I guess that's really what we've been hunkering down and doing, getting our live music together.
This next one might get you laughing a little bit, but I feel it's going to ask all the bands. What are some of your favorite moments when in the studio?
I guess it's different for everyone, but I would say for me, I definitely enjoy that moment when we're adding instrumentation. You know, we've put down the basic tracks, and then we're adding instrumentation on top of it, and we're kind of hearing the stuff that we've worked on for a long time in the studio, and it, you know, kind of takes on a new life because you're hearing, you know, what everyone else is doing more clearly. So it's not quite the end, which is also an enjoyable aspect too, but I'd say probably at the midpoint when you're really starting to hear things for the first time, and the quality of how you're hearing them is really up there. So that's an enjoyable moment for me.
This next one's an even better one. What are some of your favorite moments when on tour?
Oh man, it's mostly eating, it's mostly eating and drinking. Those seem to be the best times. You know, if it's a really good show and it's a really good audience and it's a really good club, you know, things can kind of really come together. There's a lot of boring moments in touring and getting from one place to the other and making sure you're there on time and lugging equipment. Everyone says, I'm sure, that the playing aspect is the most enjoyable, but sometimes after, just hanging with people and having a beer and just talking to you know, people in a different town and people that you've never met before. So I'd say that was probably the most enjoyable element for me, is maybe after we're done playing and just chilling out.
You did an album titled To Sleep Beyond Earth in 2014. How did this album perceive the light of day? As in, how did it come about?
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, I think that was the influences of listening to Sleep and Sun and Earth, and knowing that the goal of the band was to record an album. You know, some bands want to you know, get together, learn some songs, and play some shows first, maybe do some demos. But I think that our goal at this point was to really just create the album, record the album, and get it out. And that was the focus. And when that was the focus, it was, you know, a lot easier to make that happen. We figured all the other stuff would come later.
How did you guys come up with the and the second site, and how were the reviews on this album?
So we had a couple albums after To Sleep. There was God, how many were there? There was um, Your Doom Has Come, Dawn of the Satanic Age, Glitter of Infinite Hell. By the time we finished Glitter, I think we'd had an idea that we wanted to do. We had just done a double album, and we wanted to. We were inspired to do another one, but we didn't want to hit people over the head with another double album right after the one we had just done. And there's a band from Italy called UFO Mammoth, and they are a heavy band, and they had before us had put out basically two single albums within 6 months of each other. And we thought that was a really cool idea. So we recorded a record called Evil Eye, and we put that out. And then 6 months later, or right after that, we recorded Second Sight and put that out. And they're kind of like companion records. There's a lot of similar themes, and the artwork looks somewhat similar. And so that was the goal with Second Sight. The reviews were really good. We've always gotten fairly good reviews. It's never been an issue as far as that goes. People, or at least people who write about music, have understood what we were doing. Weirdly enough, I think Evil Eye is considered one of our best records. People do like Second Sight, but as compared to Evil Eye, I think people tend to prefer that. But Second Sight is a strong record, and we actually played one of the songs when we were in Europe last year. We played we played a song off that, which is 20 minutes, so that's basically half our set. We actually played the song Second Sight, and it went down well.
Right on. This next one's a really good one. You did a series called the Satanic Single Series, which spanned 4 volumes. Would you like to talk about these 4 volumes and how
So yeah,
portrayed the band's sound at the time between 2020 and 2021?
right. So after we did, I think it was after Second Sight, we decided we wanted to do a covers record. It just seemed like a good time. So we came up with the concept of doing an album, all of cover tunes. But before that, we're really into vinyl, and we came up with the idea of maybe of taking 8 of those songs and putting them out on 7-inch singles. And so that's the Satanic Single series. There's 4 7-inch singles, and they're made up of 8 of the songs that came out on the cloud covered record, just as a kind of like, more of a fun collectible thing, and just kind of a tribute to people who like vinyl and are interested in things like that. So we got some different artwork made up for those, and it kind of ended up being right around the pandemic. It wasn't intended that way. We came up with the idea before the pandemic, but we definitely thought that that would be a fun precursor to the actual cloud covered album. So we put those 4 singles out, and they're long gone, but the cloud covered came out after that. And it was just a way of kind of presenting a different way of presenting the music.
Sorry, I lost my place in the questions for a sec. You
That's
guys just released an album called 79 AE. Where can this album be that's out as a March 1st be purchased or ordered?
well, if you're into vinyl, you can still get it on our Bandcamp page. You go to Cloud Stay Satanic Bandcamp. You can buy it from there. If you were in Europe, it was available from Majestic Mountain Records. I believe they're sold out of vinyl. There is, I believe, a distributor called ClearSpot that will sell vinyl in Europe. I think they still have some copies. If you're into CDs, you can also get them from us. If you're into downloading your music, you can get it from us at Bandcamp. If you just want to stream your music, you can pretty much find it anywhere. Any of the major, whatever, if you use Spotify, if you use Apple Music, whatever format you use. So it depends on whether you want to own it or whether you want to just listen to it, but it's out there.
How did you guys come up with the music concepts behind the song Redemption?
So the album 79 AE was, we were asked to do a score for a movie that was going to be made about the apocalypse, basically an asteroid. The idea in the of the movie was that an asteroid had theoretically destroyed the Earth, but it didn't really. There were survivors, and we were going to do the score, the musical score to that film. We started doing it, and it turned out that the film did not get made. Usually in this case, it was budgetary reasons. But we decided to continue on anyway. Reclamation is the second song. There's basically just 2 songs on the album, Collision and Reclamation. Reclamation is side B, the second song. And it's sort of, I guess, in the story, if Collision is the story of the asteroid hitting the Earth, Reclamation would be the story of the Earth after, you know, the asteroid had hit, and basically life on Earth beyond that. So that's kind of the theme of that song. The whole album, though, again, was supposed to be a score, but references both we continued on regardless of whether the movie was being made. So Collision and Reclamation is really our imagination of a post-apocalyptic movie.
Okay, and I'm sorry for getting the song name wrong, buddy.
That's okay.
I had troubles reading the monitor when I was getting my questions together this morning, and I thought it said Redemption when it was Reclamation.
It's
Oops,
all right. We
things
forget him.
happen.
We forget him also.
Please give us, does the band have any band gear endorsements?
We do not. I think we thought about it to some extent. I guess the problem is we kind of tend to use more vintage equipment, and I think if you do an endorsement, whoever's giving you the gear or selling you the gear at a discount price wants you to use it. That's not necessarily an issue, but we really haven't reached out to any companies, and no one's reached out to us at the moment. Although I can imagine reaching out to Orange Amplifiers. They seem to do a lot of endorsements for bands and of our type, and so it's something we've given some thought to, but it hasn't been a priority. But of course, everyone wants free or cheap stuff, and we're not any different.
You're gonna laugh at this next one. Please give some guitar tips or advice for starting out guitarists to get themselves better playing wise.
Oh man, okay. So I of the two guitarists in Cloud State Satanic, I'm probably the lesser skilled. We have a lead guitarist and a rhythm guitarist. I guess technically I would be the rhythm guitarist. I also do a lot of writing, but it's funny. I've been playing guitar for years, but when I down tuned, learned about down tuning 10 years ago, lowering it, I found a way of really enjoying what I was doing a lot more than I had in the past. I always liked the guitar, but it always bothered me that I really didn't feel like I was skilled enough to, play other people's music. And sometimes that's how people gauge their skill set of playing guitar based on whether they can play a Black Sabbath song well, or a Led Zeppelin song, or whatever. And when it doesn't sound as that great, you kind of get discouraged. So doing the down tuning and writing song or writing my own material got me to enjoy playing guitar a lot more. It also got me to play more, and the more you play, the better you get. So I guess it's kind of like this vicious thing. You really need to be enjoying yourself, and practicing should be fun and not a chore. I mean, I'm pretty. If you ask me to play, Stairway to Heaven, I would not be able to. But if you ask me to play a Cloud State Satanic song, I'm happy to play play it well and enjoy doing it. So my advice to budding guitarists would be to kind of find your lane of what makes you happy with your playing, and do that. If you get off learning other people's songs and you can play them well and reproduce them, awesome. If it's not happening for you, you got to find what makes you happy, and enjoy it while you're doing it. So that's my tip for guitarists.
What advice do you have for people who want to start their own bands?
Oh man. Uh, I'm really good at starting bands, I have to say. In all modesty, I've got that skill set. It takes a lot of well, you've got to find people. You've got to give people a reason to want to play with you. I guess that's probably the thing. People have to be motivated, and they're probably not going to be motivated by money, because if you're starting a band, you're probably not making much money. So my thing has always been that you've got to give people a reason to dedicate their time, and whether that's being involved in the creative process, that's one way to get them involved. Or if you have a plan and you just want people to implement them, you've got to have the resources to make things happen, because people want to play, but they also want to move forward. They want, to see that there's something happening with the music. Even if you're not making money, you need to see some forward progress. And so I think when I started Clouds Taste Satanic, I had in mind a plan about how we were going to move forward and record and do things. And it wasn't necessarily, something that was going to require a lot of contribution from other people, because people have limited time. People have girlfriends, people have families, people have jobs, people have things to do, and if you're not providing money, then you need a reason for people to want to, get involved in the project that you're doing. So you need to find a path forward. And for me, it was like we're doing recording, we're putting albums out, and we're doing it in a reasonable amount of time. So you got to make it easy for people. It's what kind of music is it? What's the name of the band? That's how you get people to come and work on your music is, you're giving them something that they're interested in doing. So that's my advice, is to have a plan going forward and be able to explain it to people, what it is you want them to do and what it is you're moving towards.
I'm gonna ask one more question for now, and then we're gonna have to split out here for a sec and resume the interview in a second session.
Okay.
Sort of time. I'm gonna ask you a question. How does it feel? No, that's the wrong one. How could a band promote themselves better, in your opinion?
Well, social media for sure. I mean, I don't think a lot of people spend enough time on social media, because it's free and all it takes is a few minutes to like post stuff. And um, it's actually a great opportunity for people to get their music out there through the whole world. I'm shocked that people don't spend more time doing it. You don't have to, you don't have to be on your phone or on a computer all day promoting your band, but it's so easy. There's so many platforms. There's so many, basically it's content, getting stuff up there. So, and finding, if you're into doom, if you're into stoner, whatever genre of music you're into, you can be able to explain it to people, and there's groups for those people. Find your groups, find your music, and you can do it.
We'll be back in just a second with Steven from Clouds Taste Satanic.